So here's a simple sourdough starter feeding routine. This is pretty much my go-to and what I tell everyone to do, especially if they're learning. This is just a really quick and easy, like good baseline feeding. I pretty much feed my starter like this all the time unless I'm prepping for like a specific bulk bake or something like that. But you have your current active starter in this jar. I have a new clean jar right here. Especially when you're learning, I normally tell people to feed into a new jar every time, at least in the beginning, because I feel like it's just an easy way to kind of wrap your head around the process. So my go-to is a 1:4 feeding ratio. With that, I'm going to get 10 grams of active starter out of my current active starter jar. That was perfect. Now, technically, this is all discard, so I'm just going to put this aside. If I'm discarding all of it, I'm just going to dump it into my discard jar in the fridge. This is now my current active starter. I feel like people get a little bit confused about the whole process of discarding and moving their starter to different jars. But really all that you're doing is just transferring your starter from one jar to the next. So you have your one starter all the time, and then you have your discard all the time, and that's all there is to it. And using my 1:4 feeding ratio, I have my 10 grams of active starter in here. So then I'm going to tear out the food scale and then weigh out my 40 grams of water. This is filtered water from the Berkey. And then just like that, I'm going to add in my 40 grams of flour. A little bit more, there we go. Put that aside, and then I'm just going to mix this up. So I'm just going to stir it together, make sure there's no bits of flour stuck to the bottom, everything is evenly incorporated. And then once you're done, it'll look just like this, like a thick pancake batter type consistency, and that's it. And then that's it. I'm going to take my lid and just set it on. I like these jars because they do just set nicely on. If you're using like a canning jar with rings that screw on, be careful not to screw it on, just set it lightly on. But this will give you 90 grams of active starter, so factor that into whatever the recipe that you're using calls for. Obviously, since it's a ratio, you can tweak the numbers as needed, but like I said, this is a really good, just easy baseline feeding routine to stick to.